The acting attorney general's first foray into a congressional committee room, igniting tensions.
This hearing is pointless.
And highlighting the divisions on Capitol Hill.
It's our understanding that at least one briefing occurred in December before your decision not to recuse yourself on December 19th and Christmas Day. Is that correct?
What's the basis for that question, sir?
Yes or no?
Mr. Chairman, again, what is the basis for your question? You're saying that it is your...
Sir, I'm asking the questions. I only have 5 minutes. So please answer yes or no.
No, Mr. Chairman, I'm going to... you were asking me a question. It is your understanding. Can you tell me where you get the basis?
No, I'm not going to tell you that. I don't have time to get into that.
And after a few more minutes of questioning, Whitaker tried to cut the chairman off.
I see that your 5 minutes is up, and so I'm here voluntarily. We have agreed to 5-minute rounds, and
the committee...
I think that's a fine place to end the 5-minute rule.
The committee will end. Will come to order. I will point out that we didn't enforce the 5-minute rule on acting Attorney General Whitaker.
Whitaker denied any conversations with the president or other White House officials about the special counsel's investigation, which Whitaker oversees, either before or after he took over the top spot at DOJ.
At no time has the White House asked for, nor have I provided, any promises or commitments concerning the special counsel's investigation or any other investigation. I'm sorry.
It's a yes or no question. Have you communicated anything you learned in that briefing about the investigation to President Trump? Yes or no?
Mr. Chairman, as I've said earlier today in my opening remarks, I do not intend today to talk about my private conversations with the President of the United States. But to answer your question, I have not talked to the President of the United States about the special counsel's investigation.
Whitaker has come under fire for denouncing the Mueller investigation as a commentator before he joined the Justice Department, which Republicans quickly pointed out was not the reason for the hearing.
It's nothing but character assassination, harassment of our witness.
Whitaker, who said he has been fully briefed on the Mueller investigation, declined to specifically condemn the label witch hunt used by the president to describe the Russia probe.
I have not interfered with the special counsel's investigation.
Are you overseeing a witch hunt? You'd stop a witch hunt, wouldn't you?
Congressman, it would be inappropriate for me to talk about an ongoing investigation.
And Whitaker giving no specific indication how much longer it will last.
We haven't received the report. Bob Mueller is going to finish his investigation when he wants to finish his investigation.
And Committee Chairman Gerald Nadler says this isn't the end of the inquiry. Nadler says he's expecting written answers from Whitaker on a number of subjects, including specifics about conversations Whitaker had with the president or White House officials after being briefed on the special counsel's investigation, since Nadler now says he doesn't believe Whitaker's insistence that these conversations never happened. And Jake, Nadler, once again, he is threatening a subpoena if it's necessary to get all these answers.
All right, Jessica Schneider, thank you so much. My experts are here. Karen, let me start with you. You're the former prosecutor at the table and the one with a law degree. Did you hear the acting attorney general say anything that you found or could be construed as inappropriate? Was there anything he said that gave you pause in terms of his impartiality and the Mueller probe?
I thought the issue was his credibility. So he has been operating under sort of skeptical lens of credibility because he is the acting and because he was never Senate confirmed. And so that has put a cloud over his entire tenure as acting attorney general. His performance today underscored that or highlighted it or, just made it more apparent in terms of he was an inexperienced witness. He was combative with the members. He was disrespectful, and he was somewhat evasive. Now, on the most important question, I think, of the day as to whether or not he was actively undermining the special counsel's investigation, he answered that he wasn't doing anything. And so that was an important fact that he said today. But his entire sort of other sorts of answers were evasive or seemed like he was trying to not be 100% clear. And so it just speaks to his overall credibility. And I think he came away not helping himself in that regard.
And Sungman, there was one moment early on that got really contentious. Take a listen.
Now, in your capacity as acting attorney general, have you ever been asked to approve any request or action to be taken by the special counsel?
Mr. Chairman, I see that your 5 minutes is up, and so I'm here voluntarily. We have agreed to 5-minute rounds.
I'm the oldest one at the table, and I'll say I've never seen anything like that.
I mean, that just doesn't happen. It's the congressional committee that runs the hearing. It's the chairman who determines whether you've run out of time or not. And it does underscore the combative nature that the acting attorney general did really want to take in this hearing today. But as we've seen so often, when top Trump administration officials go in a public venue or go before Congress, a lot of times they're talking to an audience of one, and that's the president himself. And I think that there were moments where we didn't get a lot of new answers from him today, but one example where he perhaps could have been speaking to the president was when he declined to say anything about whether the Mueller investigation was a witch hunt or not. Remember, that's a contrast from actually what Bill Barr said at his confirmation hearing. He put faith in Mueller and said someone like Mueller, someone with his credibility, would not run a witch hunt. And I thought that was a really interesting contrast between the two.
Simone, what do you think?
Look, I remember sitting here yesterday and talked about the indignation with which Acting Attorney General Whitaker has engaged with the most senior members of Congress, and that is why they were essentially threatening him with a subpoena, because you have to come talk to us. And today, he underscored why that threat of a subpoena, in my opinion, is necessary for him to capitulate to Congress's demands. He got into many back and forths with various members of Congress when he could have just answered the question. And all I could think about was, what if this was Sally Yates or James Comey for that regard? I remember when James Comey came to Congress, he was nobody's favorite, okay? The Democrats or the Republicans. But James Comey knew that he could not sit there with this righteous indignation for fear of what people would say about him, but frankly, how he would be perceived from these members. I don't think Matthew Whitaker cared about that, and I think that's hurtful to him himself, but it also undermines his credibility. What do you have to hide, Acting Attorney General Whitaker? Why can't you just answer the question?
What did you think?
Well, I would just say that Comey always has a righteous air about him, even if it's slightly more polite.
He's nobody's favorite.
Even if it's slightly more polite. But look, maybe the plan was to make Barr look really good by contrast. Because look, Barr's on deck. This guy's gonna be God's dude. I think you saw the classic contrast between somebody who is closer in temperament and manner to Trump, and somebody he likes and put in that position for a reason, because he is more punchy, he is combative, and then you've got this very, like I said, his strength, Barr, is that he is a conventional political figure, competent and sort of bland, and I think that's what's working for him, and perhaps Barr's performance today makes it look a little better.
Although we should point out that Mr. Whitaker was not the only one that had done a few push-ups before the hearing, and his blood was going. There were Democrats who definitely...
Oh, yes, Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal from Washington State got very riled up and passionate talking about the kids at the border. I also think Jim Jordan, he was like, tell me about this redacted memo. And I'm like, look,
Yeah.
let us see the memo.
But here's one of the members of the House Democratic leadership, Congressman Hakeem Jeffries of New York. Take a listen to him.
Who are you? Where did you come from? And how the heck did you become the head of the Department of Justice? So hopefully you can help me work through this confusion.
All right, well, Congressman,
Mr. Whitaker, that was a statement, not a question.
Okay.
I assume you know the difference.
There was a lot of that, too.
Look, House members, and to be fair, senators as well, they eat their Wheaties, they prepare for these moments with any major congressional hearing. And I think Republicans on Capitol Hill are banking on the prospect that perhaps Democrats would get a little too eager and perhaps overreach on these oversight requests. Now, Democrats say what they've asked for from the administration is more than fair, but I think you saw a preview with that, with the subpoena fight yesterday on Capitol Hill over Whitaker's testimony. I mean, Republicans were furious. They're saying this just shows how Democrats want to make oversight into political theater. And that's why you've seen so much carefulness from Nancy Pelosi and Democrats on down on how they approach oversight, particularly on sensitive issues like the president's tax returns.
Really raises the question, though, of what is the Senate waiting for to confirm the nominee for Attorney General? I mean, he is a conservative, traditional Republican. He has the appropriate credentials. He's been the Attorney General before. Not that all the members of Congress are going to agree with him about certain things, and he didn't give everybody the answers that they wanted when it came to the disposition of the report that the special counsel will write. But he is someone who is qualified to be the Attorney General. And I think based on his confirmation hearing, the public and Congress were able to see that he has the experience and the temperament and respects the office of the Attorney General. I just thought this performance today was degrading for the Department of Justice to see that this is their Attorney General right
Barr
now.
has been reported out of committee, out of the Senate Judiciary Committee, and now they're waiting for the vote on the floor.